your introduction is going to include your theme, the authors, the titles of the works, because you need you're not going to hand out works cited page. Remember, you're using only excerpts. So you need to have literary license, that you realize that this is not your work. People in the audience know this is not your work. So again, a paragraph. It does not have to be long paragraphs, 4 sentences, 6 sentences. I don't think it should exceed that. Telling us about your theme, your authors, and your titles, and the reason why you pick this. So again, I enjoy nature. I'm going to write something that reflects that. Then that last line in the introduction should introduce your first poem. Even though you gave us the name in the beginning, you can introduce that if you were reading this, you are ready to read the first poem to the audience. So the last line should transition you into your first poem. So step number 5, you're going to retype or cut and paste your first creative reading. It may be a poem or one of the other suggestions we had before. And that excerpt, you're going to use all your script markings, volume changes. Some of the phrases in there should be louder, some softer. You should have your pauses. You should have your faster phrasing, your slower phrasing. You should have pitch higher, pitch lower, and slides. So vocal variety. That's why it was good in your practice session if you practice one of the paragraphs in the end, Les Mis, so that you can see how you are using all of your script markings, and that in essence is called vocal variety. So I only want script markings on the creative pieces. Narration, we know, is going to go slower than your conversational speech, and we don't need script markings on that. So the only script markings I need are on your excerpts from your creative works, and that's what this says. Again, you may not be able to use the script markings in the book. The pause you can use because that's the slash. The underlining you can use, that's easy. The other ones you may have to develop a key for and just put it on the top, like where the heading would go. Light blue highlighted is pitch up. Yellow highlighted is pitch down. Remember, slides are on one word, so italicize, pitch higher, a slide higher. You can italicize at 10 font or 14 font for you create it, but I should see all of the script markings. Okay, so they're listed here. You have the pause, faster phrasing, slower phrasing, pitch higher, pitch lower, slide higher, slide lower, volume louder, volume lower, or softer. Okay, so remember that and put the key in with your submission. And it could go, again, right there in the beginning before your introduction, or it could go to the end. I could just scroll down and look. Okay, so you have written your introduction, you transitioned, you cut and paste your first creative writing. Now you're back to being a narrator. You have to write 1 paragraph, does not have to be lengthy, 4 sentences is fine. How does your first creative reading or your first poem connect to your second poem? So the meaning of the first poem. So for example, mine theme was nature, and my first poem was Autumn Leaves. And my second reading was Winter Scene in Russia. So how do they connect in this manuscript? I'm going to tell you through my written narration. In the first poem, we saw the beauty that nature brings with its color and brightness and crispness in the air. In the second poem, we see the opposite, the devastation that winter can have, causing death and despair or despair. Again, I'm just making this up. Then I cut and I paste my second reading, and I script mark. Remember, it only has to be an excerpt. I keep repeating myself because many times it's too much. And I don't want you to do, I need an excerpt. I need you to understand that it's an abstract of the original work. Then you have a transitional paragraph connecting your second poem with your third. So after this devastation of winter and how it causes agony and defeat, we now can see the beauty of a continent written in the first paragraph of Out of Africa. Again, and on and on and on, right? You would write a paragraph. And then guess what? You cut and paste your third reading and an excerpt of it, and you script mark it. Then you have a conclusion, back to narration. In this manuscript, I hope you have seen the beauty that nature holds and how it is a force to be reckoned with as well. Again, I wouldn't write that, but it's something similar to that. So you have an introduction. You have your first creative reading. You have a transitional paragraph connecting how your poem 1 connects in poem 2 and why they're in this manuscript. Then you have a transitional paragraph. Then you read your second poem. Then you write your transitional paragraph, how your second poem connects to your third poem. You read your third poem, and then you have a conclusion and then a works cited page, which has to follow MLA. And if you don't know about easybib.com, you can certainly, use that to help you formulate an MLA citation page. And that's the written manuscript. So again, it's introduction, followed by first reading with script markings. Okay, oops, let's put the K in there. Okay, that, I know I'm going to spell something wrong. Then you have your transitional paragraph. Okay, connecting poem 1 to 2. Okay, then you have your second reading with script markings. Then you have a transitional paragraph connecting poem 2 to 3. Then you have your third poem with script markings. And then you have your conclusion. Okay, I just did that so you can understand how it looks. Okay, all in, double space, 12 font is the best way because you want to get all your script markings in there. And this is submitted through Blackboard. I give you all of day 4 and to complete it. So pay attention to the due dates in your class session. So today you learned how to prepare the manuscript, and it will be submitted according to your due date.